main man, Pharmacist Ben. How are
What's
you?
up? What's up, AJ? How's it going, man?
Doing well.
Happy 2026.
2026. How's your weather out there, by the way?
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's been like 60 and 70 degrees for like a week.
Is that good or bad?
It's unbelievable. I'm shorts and t-shirt.
Oh, man.
Shorts and t-shirt, man. Periodically, it'll get a little bit cold, like 40s or 50s, but for the most part, it is shorts and t-shirt weather, and I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
I was going to say, well, I don't know that I mean shorts.
No, I mean it's shorts. Is it nice in New York? No.
It's like 35.
Okay.
Yeah,
New York. I'm glad I'm not in New York. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, good old New York. Well, Pharmacist Ben, as you mentioned, it is 2026. What do you expect?
Time to lose some weight, huh?
Well, that is one of the
I need to lose some weight.
How much you thinking you're going to lose?
10 pounds, maybe.
Uh-huh.
I'm about 10 pounds over my fighting weight.
70.
I was just reading this week or last week. 70% of Americans are considered obese. 70%. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that leads us into a perfect segue, doesn't it?
It does, because that is wanted to talk about the dark side of skinny. And the reason that we picked that topic is because the Wegovy is now going to be available in pill form, and as opposed to just the injection. So I think it's going to be accepted by more people now.
Okay, they want everybody to be. They want a lot of people on it. It's a big one.
Well, interestingly enough, it is for a 1 month supply. It's $299.
Okay, for 1 month. So what does that come out to for a year? Let's do some quick math here.
So
thousands of dollars a year.
$3,600 a year.
Yes.
And for that amount of money, you can get yourself a healthy body, a healthy brain and heart pack.
You'd be a lot better off.
You can get 2 healthy body start packs for that. And
don't forget about Elevate.
You could get the Elevate, but I wasn't even going to go there. I mean, I was
just your basic nutrients.
And I kind of wanted to pry from you what is going to be the best way that someone should healthily look to lose weight, because the side effects on this Wegovy thing is possible.
Yeah, you said the dark side, because here's the thing. Yeah, GLP-1s.
I'm going to pull this up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What are you going to pull up here? What is that?
It says possible thyroid tumors, including cancer.
You're messing around with your chemistry. You can't listen, people. This is a mindset issue. It's not the specifics here. You can't mess around with your chemistry like this. This idea that we can play around with chemistry, and by the way, GLP, glucagon-like peptide, or glucagon, is a very fundamental hormone. You can't play around with these things. You can't play around with your body's biochemistry and not expect to pay the price for it, especially a chemistry that is so intimately involved with growth. And that's really what the GLP-1s do. They suppress the appetite, which sounds like it's a good thing, right? That it's suppressing your appetite. But the problem is appetite is not a flaw. Appetite is not some biochemical aberration. It's a signal that you need something. And chronic suppression of the this hunger drive, if you will disconnect you from all of your internal mechanisms that are associated with nourishment and lack of nourishment, or eating and stopping eating. Eating and stopping eating, the rhythm of eating and cessation of eating, or eating and non-eating, is tightly regulated. If you start to monkey around with the chemicals that control that, you can't help but have a problem, and there is problems associated with it. Those are new. The tumors are new, but it makes sense to me because you're playing around with growth, and tumors are a growth issue. But the big problem that I see all the time is loss of muscle. And that has not fat. It could be your lean muscle. You can lose up to 30% or 40% of your lean muscle. That is a serious problem that can lead to frailty. It can lead to muscle weakness. It can lead to long-term insulin resistance issues. You may be skinnier, but you're going to be metabolically weaker. And that's the point. You may be skinnier, you may lose weight, but you're going to be metabolically compromised. Metabolism is how you build things and break things down. All that is being thrown off by the drug. Listen, do you think the companies that make Wegovy and Ozempic give a rat's you-know-what about you? AJ, do you think they care about you?
Well, they care about your job.
Yes, they could care less about you. And I'm not saying that to make them wrong. That's what business is. Businesses bleed green, not red. They're not people, even though they get the benefits of people, which is an interesting story there. Corporations are about a financial incentive or about profit incentive. They're there to make money, which is great. I have a corporation. I want to make money. I don't have a problem with that. But when they're telling you something about a molecule that we know by its very nature is poisonous, there's no getting around that. Nobody will deny that. And they're trying to tell you this is going to be good for you on some level. Obviously, that's a sign. That's a red flag. Do you get it? When you have a corporation who has a fiduciary obligation to make money, that's their job, and they're trying to sell you a poison, which we all acknowledge, nobody denies it, a poison, and they're telling you this is going to make you better, don't you think that should just kind of make you think a little bit? You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't that say, well, wait a minute, how do I know they're telling me the truth here? They're not.
Do they say it's going to make you better, or they say it's going to make you wait?
Yeah, they don't say make you better. I was being a little bit broad there, but yes, they have specific things they say. It'll make your rashes go away. It'll give you more energy. It'll help you lose weight. It'll make you think clearer, make your heart work better. They have specifics, but basically what I'm saying is if they're purporting that they're poison, which nobody denies, it's a poison. Remember, you have to take extra. Remember we talked about this? You have a first pass effect where you have to take extra because your liver's trying to get rid of the stuff. So nobody denies it's a poison. If somebody who's selling you something says, don't worry about this poison, it's going to make you better or make your heart work better, your skin better, or energy, or whatever it is, lose weight, don't you think that would make you contemplate a little bit? Wouldn't that make you say something? I mean, it does me. I'm privy to the scam. I see how the sausage is made. So, I'm obviously not going to believe a thing they say. But if even the average person who's not privy to this kind of stuff, who doesn't really know how the sausage is made, shouldn't it just kind of make you question a little bit? And then when you have a healthcare professional or a government that tells you, that encourages you, that should make you ponder that government or healthcare professionals' motives as well. Maybe not the healthcare professional. I don't want to cast aspersions on healthcare professionals because most of them are good people. There's no financial incentive for them to dispense medication. But I was talking to this lady. I do a radio show before I do this podcast, and I talked to a lady on the radio, or she called, and she said that she had hyperparathyroidism. Do you know what that is? Hyperparathyroidism. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
I hope you don't think this is.
I do the same.
Do you out of the water bottle? Yeah, good for you. I don't think it's a problem, but I had some guy tell me once he was embarrassed, and I should be embarrassed.
Well, I had someone tell me I shouldn't be drinking from plastic, so that was the knock.
That is probably true. Hey, locus of control. You control what you can control, right? And one of the best ways to protect yourselves from plastics. And you know about microplastics now, all the little particles that are in various foods and in the food chain, basically. Plant-derived minerals are one of the best ways to protect yourself from these microplastics, and everything in general. Plant-derived minerals are have a detoxifying property. So anyway, GLP-1s. So GLP-1s throw off your metabolism. Yes, they work by suppressing your appetite, but your appetite is not a flaw. Hunger is not a flaw. It's a homeostatic mechanism that's there to keep you nourished. And when you tell your body stop eating artificially, pharmacologically, by poisoning the system that controls it, literally, not poetically, literally poisoning the system that controls it, you're going to run into problems. You can't help it. The one I see the most is muscle wasting. And this leads to what they call Ozempic face or Ozempic butt. And it's not just the muscle, it's also the connective tissue. Ozempic butt and Ozempic face. I'm not sure which one's worse. You can see Ozempic face, but you know, if you happen to see Ozempic butt, it's pretty nasty. You know, you don't want to see that. You know, everything hangs because you're breaking down your tissue. GLP-1s don't change the metabolic problem, which is associated with insulin resistance and too many calories and too much sugar. What they do is they artificially suppress the hormones that are downstream. Remember, the fruit is not the root. GLP-1s paint the fruit. They artificially modify the end result, which is the hormone disturbance. Work upstream and work on your blood sugar is the best way to do it. And by the way, one of the, you know, we have 2 points in the triangle, well, 2 points on the plane of disease, right? The digestive system and the blood sugar system. And guess what? GLP-1s work on both. GLP-1s work on the blood sugar system, and they also work on the intestine. And one of their classic side effects is intestinal issues. GLP-1s slow down the movement of food through the intestine. This is one of the ways they suppress your appetite. You don't lose your food as quickly, so the food slows down. This can cause constipation or make constipation even worse. This can cause problems with bloating. As the food remains stagnant in the intestine, bacteria can start to eat the food, and that can cause gas and bloating and acid reflux. SIBO symptoms can be completely exacerbated. And one of the most common side effects of the GLP-1s are nausea. Again, because of the consequences, because of the GI consequences. And as if that weren't enough, there's also gallbladder issues. The gallbladder is obviously part of the digestive system, but one of the ways that the reduced fat intake, you're going to be eating less fat, and the rapid weight loss can impact the body, is it can throw off the gallbladder. It can throw off bile signaling. Bile's a hormone, really. You know, we talk about bile is an incredible fluid. You know, I talk about it a lot, and everybody knows about it as a digestive fluid. And oftentimes on this program, we'll talk about it for detoxification, and it's your main detox fluid. But bile also plays a major role in metabolism. It's a bridge. It's really one of the links between point 1 and point 2 on the triangle, right? Between the digestive system and the triangle, we got this connection, and that connection is mediated by a lot of things, but in many ways, bile. So bile has an impact on the digestive system and the blood sugar system, and people who are on these GLP-1 inhibitors, which have an effect on the blood sugar or metabolic system, will also have a higher risk of gallstones. They'll have a higher risk of gallbladder inflammation, and they'll have a higher risk of sticky, sludgy bile, which can lead to impaired absorption of fats and digestive problems. You can see how, you know, there's a domino effect here. So when you're taking the GLP-1s for weight loss, you have a whole domino effect, a whole cascade of reactions that are secondary to the actual effect, the benefit, supposed benefit of the GLP-1s. By virtue of the GLP-1's manipulation of the hormone system or effects on the hormone system, you got GI effects, you got gallbladder effects, you got muscle effects, you've got metabolic effects, hormone effects. You got all kinds of effects, and yeah, you won't be as hungry, and you'll eat less food. And some people lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. They don't look so great sometimes, you know. Maybe with their clothes on, but that could be deceitful. And oh, by the way, there's the whole pancreas and thyroid thing that you're talking about, on top of everything else. And I don't, you know, I heard that that was a possible problem. You're telling me that. Is that they have definitive proof now? Is that what you said?
Well, it's part of the black label on the Wegovy product itself. I mean, it's pancreatic and thyroid problems. Possible thyroid tumors, including cancer.
I did not know that was a black box. I didn't realize. Is that new?
Well, I don't know if it's a black box, but I mean, it's a warning on the label.
Yeah, they call that a black box.
increased risk of low blood sugar, dehydration leading to kidney problems, severe stomach problems,
all that,
serious allergic reactions, all that. But
all
what
that.
really,
And let me just say this: at the end of the day, they're not doing anything for your insulin resistance. They're not doing anything for your mineral deficiencies or your vitamin deficiencies. They're not doing anything for the chronic inflammation or the stress or the intestinal problems or the leaky gut, which are the source of the problem. See what I'm saying? They're not solving the problems. They're just manipulating it artificially, which sounds good. And if there was no problems associated with it, maybe, but you can't manipulate a part of the body without affecting the entire system. And this is a mental leap that we have to take. You understand what I'm saying? We have to make this mental leap into and have a mindset that you can't poison one system of the body to get a benefit and not impact the entire system. Please understand this. Doctors, understand this. Drug companies, they're incentivized, so maybe they're not going to want to understand it. But healthcare professionals, please understand, you can't target one part of the body to get an effect without having other effects everywhere, some to one degree or another.
Have you had dinner?
Actually, I have not had dinner because I did a show right before this. Okay. Why do you ask?
Because then you won't barf when you see this image. So
okay.
This is apparently an image of Ozempic butt.
There you go. That's Ozempic butt.
I mean, that should be enough reason.
That's what I say. That's exactly what I say.
Not to want to take.
Had you heard about Ozempic butt before I just told you?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a thing. Like we've heard.
It's a thing, right? Yeah, it's a thing. Ozempic butt.
So we got our team here. We got some of our holistic hustlers.
Yeah, and by the way, if you are on a GLP-1, get on the YGY Elevate to support the GLP-1. What'll happen is, like with all nutrition, your GLP-1 will work better, and you won't need as much, and you'll be able to mitigate some of the toxicity and side effects. And who knows? Ultimately, you may not even need the GLP-1. You may be able to get away with just the YGY Elevate or the support bundle.
Okay, so prior to the advent of this GLP-1 craze, yes, what advice would you have given someone who wanted to lose a significant amount of weight?
I call it the seafood diet. You want to eat as much as you want to eat, but you have to eat it while you're looking at yourself naked in the mirror.
That's no problem for us voyeurs. We could do that.
No, yourself. You're not going to be a voyeur for yourself.
Well, I mean, what do you
I'm not saying do it for your friend, not do it for your distributor, AJ. You can't get. Don't tell your downlines. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying if you look at the impact of the food you're eating, and when we're eating, we don't see the impact. But if you can look at it, that might change the way you ate. I'm being slightly facetious. The main point is we don't see the impact of the food we're eating until later, and that's a real big problem. But if you could look at yourself in the mirror, or even just look at pictures of yourself, that might make a difference. Another thing you could do, and this is really interesting, is eat more slowly. Chew your food more slowly. I don't know if your mom ever told you this, but it's like kind of like a thing your mom tells you to chew your food 50 times or 100 times or something like that.
The Jamaican ladies say, masticate your food.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Okay, it is. It's true. Because when you masticate, number one, you support your pancreas because the enzymes in your saliva will help begin the breakdown product of sugars and carbohydrates, so your pancreas won't have to work as hard. That's number one. Sugar will be released into your bloodstream faster, so the satiety signals will be reached faster. And number three, you don't want it. It's hard to chew. It's a pain to chew. So you get tired of eating quicker. So chew your food a lot, and you'll find you're eating a lot or eating less. Also, taste your food. Really taste the food. A lot of times we don't taste the food. Now, chewing will definitely help you taste the food, but if you pay attention to the food, you'll find you're eating less. they call it fast food, and everybody thinks they call it fast food because they make it fast. They call it fast food because you have to eat it fast. If you ever had to chew your McDonald's hamburger 100 times and taste every little piece of gristle in that whatever patty thing, whatever that thing was, and if you took the bun off and looked at that little brown piece of turd thing, whatever it is, you wouldn't eat anywhere near as much if you even ate it at all. So pay attention to the food, taste the food, chew the food, and look at yourself in the mirror. That's another thing that you can do when you're eating. Start your meals off with vegetables. Start your meals off with a cup of vegetables. If you start your meals off with a cup of vegetables, you'll find physiologically you'll be full, and psychologically you'll be less likely to eat high-calorie junk foods. Just psychologically, when you start off with something good, you're just going to have less of a tendency to want to eat stuff that's not so good. Less of a tendency. Most people will muscle through and do it, but you'll find a little bit of resistance to that. So start your meals off with vegetables, or, and this is a great breakfast, but you can do this anytime during the day, before meals, breakfast time, middle of the day, grind up flax seeds and make a flaxseed beverage with powdered flaxseed and water, a little bit of stevia or maybe some honey, stir it up, and it makes this delicious drink, high protein, relatively high protein, has all your minerals, has essential fats, has great fiber, and it's super filling. And so that's another strategy, that almost like a natural GLP-1 inhibitor. Also vegetable juices with the fiber, extremely filling. And not only will you get the fiber and the fillingness, but you'll also get the structured water. You'll get all the wonderful electrolytes and nutrients from the vegetable juice. And also drink water, and beyond Tangy Tangerine, especially in water, with your meals. You know, sometimes you'll say you'll hear people say, don't drink water with your meals. It'll dilute your juices, your digestive juices. Have you ever heard that?
I have heard that, but I did hear you counter that recently.
Not true. Not true. The way it works is when you eat food, the food has to be saturated with liquid. And because most of the foods we eat today don't really have a lot of liquid, you're not going to get as effective digestion. The enzymes aren't going to work as effectively. The acids aren't going to work as effectively. You're not going to be able to saturate the food. Now, if you're eating lots of veggies, you might not need it as much, fresh veggies. But for most of us, when we're eating meals, we're not eating meals that have a lot of liquid in them, and that slows down and impairs the digestive process. So drink water with your meals, and you'll find you're eating less food. And then after you eat, walk around the block. That will push sugar into the muscle from the digestive system. It'll from the blood, I should say. It will lower your blood sugar. Also, after your meals, if you drink a bunch of water, that will also lower your blood sugar. And so that's another strategy that you could use. And then, of course, the wonderful nutrients, the Mighty 9 essential nutrients in general, will allow you to get more nutritional bang for your caloric buck. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You get right, and that's one of the reasons why people lose weight on nutritional supplementation. And all of that should be, in my opinion, you should be doing all those things first before jumping into a GLP-1 that'll make your butt look like cottage cheese. What's that?
You want to see the picture again?
No, I don't want to see that picture again. That was disgusting.
So I've taken your advice recently. I've paid attention to the fact that after I've eaten something, that I actually wasn't hungry.
Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. That's a very good point. Very, very good point. Portions. We only need a couple of bites, right? Notice it. Is that what you noticed? After a few bites, you're fine.
I was fine, but just accustomed to finishing the plate.
The plate, right?
Just
we don't want to exactly.
There's a certain portion size that I'm accustomed.
Yes, yes. And also boredom, or you're in a social setting, or you spent the money on it, or you spent the time cooking it. You know, all of these things come together to create wonderful reasons for us to eat more. And it's unfortunate because, like you're experiencing, all you need is a bite or two. And under the most dire of circumstances, maybe 5 bites, and that's if you haven't eaten for 2 days. Right? For most of us, 1 or 2 bites is plenty. 3 bites, and that's the easiest way to lose weight. Caloric restriction in combination with good nutrition and movement. It's not just caloric restriction. You got to actually have some movement going. But between movement, nutritional supplementation, and caloric restriction, that's a super effective way to lose weight. The ketogenic diet is awesome. And most people do the ketogenic diet wrong because they don't pay attention to the most important criteria for ketogenesis, which is low calorie. Most people say, oh, I can do the bacon and, the cheese and the pizza. Oh, that's wonderful, ketogenic. All of that. No, it's the calories. It's high fat, but it's low calorie.
Keely is a Dr. Wallach.
Keely, yes.
She's a Dr. Wallach purist, and she doesn't like any product that doesn't focus on the 90.
All right.
And Keely, and to be very honest, because it's late night and no one's watching, she really doesn't like a lot of the new products because she kind of feels as though it's a deviation from Dr. Wallach's.
Keely, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with Keely. I'm not going to go out on a limb here and say, anything bad about all the new products and all the stuff they're doing, but I definitely see Keely's point.
Yeah.
So I try to focus on just the core amount of products.
She says, why would one need the GLP-1 given the fact that protocols work to address weight loss?
Keely is right on. Keely is a smart woman. She's totally right on. Keely's been on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Keely, 100%. I'm on you. I'm with you on that. I agree with you.
Okay. All right. So you're not going to address what she said, just going to agree with it.
I totally agree with it. Yeah. If you're taking care of all your basic needs, the specialty products, people should do whatever they want to do. I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but in my opinion, it's so much simpler to focus on a core amount of products. And that's what I do, really. I mean, when you and I are talking, we're talking about FucoidZ, the digestive stuff, the Healthy Start Pack, the Mighty 90, maybe the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, Selenium. This is a core 15 to 20 products we're talking about. And Longevity has thousands of them.
And the TMR shake is all.
TMR shake, absolutely. I love the TMR shake.
Becca's mentioning, I love how being on the Pig Pack Plus helped me lose weight without trying.
Yes.
Okay, so Pharmacist Ben, how much protein do we need to consume?
There's really no way to know. They say half a gram to a gram per pound of body weight. That's a general rule. But if you're healing from surgery, you're an athlete, you're a pregnant mom, you're frail, there's reasons why you want to build more tissue, you need more protein. But it's not like a one-to-one relationship. You eat protein, you get more tissue. You got your metabolism has to be working correctly. And by the way, protein gets turned into sugar. A lot of folks don't recognize this, but your protein can raise your blood sugar because protein conversion into sugar it happens pretty regularly, pretty easily. It's called glucose sugar, neogenesis, building or creating. Gluconeogenesis is the creation of sugar in a new way, as opposed to the old way, which comes from carbohydrates. The new way is from proteins. And also, the liver will actually make sugar itself, or release sugar, not make it, but release sugar when we're under duress. So between stress, duress, and excess ingestion of protein, you have two major reasons why blood sugar will elevate or go up, even if you're trying to control your carbohydrates.
Pharmacist Ben, I watch Facebook a lot, and I see this woman in particular. She showed a before picture of herself, and she's somewhere around 300 pounds.
Okay.
She's now stunning. You would never know that she had at any point had 300 pounds on her body.
It's amazing.
Black woman, her hair is incredibly long and healthy.
That's awesome.
She says that all she does is juice and vegetables. Her whole life is juicing, and she's telling me, I get all my nutrients from just juice.
Well, you can't get all your nutrients from juice.
Listen, I'm telling you
all right.
what I'm seeing.
Hey, look, you can't argue with what she's doing. It may be that she was so toxic and so metabolically disturbed that when she removed everything, not so much what she changed to juice, but when she eliminated everything, she changed her life, her metabolic life, her biochemical life. So chances are, I don't know this is the case, obviously, but it's a possibility, we'll say, that she was eating a lot of crappy food and now she's not doing that anymore. And that alone is going to make a significant difference. And she may be attributing it to just the juice, which is probably helping, of course, very detoxifying. Juicing's awesome, fresh juicing. I'm no problem with that. But she may be even better. She may even feel better. She may even be stronger if she threw in the Mighty 90 and some TMR. But she may be noticing the results of elimination of stuff, as not just the juice or not even the juice, but the elimination of everything else. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's eating cleaner, so none of the toxins.
Way cleaner. Yeah. Imagine you go from like a standard American diet to, a 300-pound standard American diet, a diet living patient or eating patient. You imagine what she must have been doing, right? And now all of a sudden she's not doing any of it. So that alone is going to make a huge difference.
When she changed her life, the Colonel Sanders shed a tear.
Yes, probably. She was probably eating a lot of fried chicken.
He was definitely his best customer.
Yeah. And let me tell you, on the list, the short list of horrible foods for you, fried chicken is very near the top. Very, very near the top.
What else?
Remember,
put up there?
Anything with fried oil. Chicken is especially because it's breaded, and so it's got lots of oil in it. Because the bread traps the oil. So remember we talked about crisps the other day, right?
Crisps?
Did we talk about crisps, me and you? I forgot. I do all these shows. I forget who I talked to.
Like French fries, potato chips, crisps?
Yeah, I was telling you how we human beings love crisp.
Oh, crisp. Yes.
Crisp. Yeah.
In the UK, they call French fries crisps. But yes, we did talk
you're
about
right.
We like the crunch. We like the bag open.
Yes. Yeah, the package, the sound of Christmas, the hamburger opening, whatever, that paper opening, it sounds like Christmas. That's crisp. Human beings love crisp. You wonder why? Why do we love crisp so much? Crisp signals to us freshness. How does it signal freshness? When a food is crisp, from an evolutionary standpoint, it wasn't French fries. It was vegetables. It was vegetables, not just water. Structured water, organized water that is interacting with the fiber, and it's not just regular water. In fact, regular water will make something soggy, not crisp, right? People like their Captain Crunch crisp, not soggy. Right? Because soggy tells the brain something else. Soggy tells the brain it's all breaking down. Crisp tells the brain, from an evolutionary standpoint, everything's fresh and new. The water's structured and it's organized, and that crack. That's your assurance that that's a fresh food. By fresh, I mean everything. The solid material, the fibers are hydrated, and the water is organized and coherent. And by the way, that word coherent, remember it. Because I'm going to be talking a lot about it, and not just me, but everybody in that world of health is going to be talking a lot about it, because today we understand that health is about coherence. And coherence itself is a function of nutrition. So nutrients improve coherence, which is what makes us healthy and live a long life. Aging and disease are decoherence, ultimately leading to incoherence. So you want to be coherent. And in the body, and I think we talked about this on Friday, but in the body, or in biological systems, coherence is really a quantum phenomena. It's occurring at the electron level. And it's really a quantum coherence that keeps us aging. And it's about frickin' time, in my opinion, that our understandings of quantum made it into the world of consumerism, especially around nutrition and food, because we are healthy not at the organ level, the macro level, the level we see, and not even at the cell level, which is the level we talk about. So that's the first level that we can visibly observe. But really, it's about the quantum level. And this is what makes minerals the foundation of all the nutrients, because minerals can manipulate quantum energy more effectively than any other nutrient, any other substance. That's what makes minerals so unbelievably powerful, is they can manipulate quantum energy. and they can release and store and carry quantum energy more efficiently or more discreetly than big molecules like vitamins and aminos and fatty acids. These things are little tiny electron carriers, shuttles, if you will. And while that's true about all molecules, it's really the atoms, the carbon, the hydrogen, the sulfur, in the vitamin or in the amino or in the fatty acid that is imparting the benefit. With a mineral, and really we should say element, it's not a mineral. With a mineral, you have just the single piece that's carrying the electrical energy, rather than having a big old molecule with a piece embedded in it that's carrying the electrical energy. Is that making sense?
Yes.
There's some serious chemistry you're getting here. But I think it's important that we start to understand that all of these things are, all these things we talk about, the mighty 9 essential nutrients and all of these strategies work because they work at the most fundamental level of reality and by extension of biology, which is quantum, electrons and protons.
I want to give a shout out to my high school chemistry teacher, True.
Yeah. Is he on the call?
She is not, but
she's not on the call.
But yeah, I love my teachers.
Did I ever tell you my chemistry story? My funny chemistry story? We don't have a lot of time. I'll have to tell you some other time, but it's a funny story. No, we don't have 18 minutes here.
Tell me the story.
Do we have calls?
I have a couple questions for you, but tell me.
No, are they phone calls or questions?
No, I just have a couple questions.
Okay, so when I have a journalism degree, and I couldn't make any money. I worked in my journalism degree. I had bag groceries, literally, and I worked as a dishwasher, and I landscaped, and I put tar on roofs, and I did door-to-door selling vinyl siding, and I sold used cars, all with a journalism degree. Right. And then I finally got a job selling airtime on a radio station, and that didn't work either. So finally I decided, I like chemistry. I was fascinated with drugs, and I figured pharmacists made a lot of money, and I really wanted to study food, how food interacted with the body as medicine. So I thought I'd go to pharmacy school. So I go to pharmacy. Before you go to pharmacy school, you got to take chemistry. And I always considered myself a smart guy. I was always reading, and I was always, I thought of myself as being fairly intelligent. But I couldn't make heads or tails out of chemistry. I took the first course, they call Chem 100, and I had to bust my tail to get a B. And I was so proud of getting that B because I had to bust my tail to get the B. Then I took Chem 102. No, first it was Chem 101, then Chem 102. And that one kicked my butt. Oh my God. I didn't know what the heck was going on. It was the summertime. So the teacher felt sorry for everybody because nobody knew what was going on. And somehow he graded everybody on a curve, and I should have gotten an F, but I got a D, and I made it through. All right. And I needed those 2 courses to get to pharmacy school. And then the next thing I needed to do to get to pharmacy school was organic chemistry. And here I am. Now I'm not thinking I'm so smart. I thought I was smart starting it, but then I couldn't figure it out, and I got a B, and then I completely couldn't figure it out, and I got a D. So I was humbled. But then I got to organic, and let me tell you, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I had zero understanding. I would study all night, and I would get the lowest grade in the class, literally on the bottom, on the like a 10 out of 100 or 9 out of 100, like ridiculous, because I didn't understand it. And I remember I took it in September and October, and we had 3 or 4 tests. Every time I got the lowest grade in the class after studying really hard. And so I go in, I drop the course. You can drop the course. And I knew I had to take it again the next year because I had to get in pharmacy school. And I was so embarrassed, and I felt so terrible that I had to drop the course. So finally I dropped the course, and I was really feeling down, just depressed, and it was really a bad time for me. And I didn't think about it. I dropped in October, didn't think about it till the next January when I had to take the course again. I go into the course in January. I walk into the room, and the guy starts drawing, the professor, Dr. Wallach, starts drawing some stuff on the board. And boom, as soon as he wrote it, I understood it. It was just perfectly clear to me. I completely understood what he was doing. So much so that I ended up getting an A in organic chemistry, and I loved it. It became fun. I got a B in organic too, which was a little bit harder. And I understood it. The most incredible thing, I understood chemistry. And then I went to biochemistry, and I swear, I about got on my knees and worshiped, praised Jesus right there on the spot when it dawned on me all the stuff that happens in our bodies that is just right under our noses, literally zillions. I don't even know the number of chemical reactions. They're all interacting with each other and networked with each other, and one leading to the next, to the next, to the next. It's the most incredible thing, and I just became an absolute lover of chemistry, which I am to this day, and I'm a damn good chemist because of it. But the point I'm making is that between the time I dropped it and January, when it hit me, something happened in my brain, and I don't know what it was, but there's a message there. It's like when you're not thinking about stuff, things are happening. And so if you have a dream, you have a vision, you want something to happen, yeah, it's important to picture it and to do all the things you want to do, but it's also important to stop and let the process happen. Let nature take its course. Yes, you want to do your work. I'm not telling you not to do your work, but you have to know when to allow to stop and let the fruits of your labor start to percolate and ferment and do their work. And that was a very important lesson for me. And I thought that was really cool how I went from completely being an imbecile in chemistry to being a really, really good chemist, which I am to this day.
You forgot the part where you got struck by lightning in December.
Yeah, no, I may be. I don't know.
Pharmacist Ben, I got an important question about a liver cleanse, and I wonder if that at all relates in somehow to weight loss. But I'm dealing with a young woman, beautiful young lady, who is dealing with liver problems. Like,
okay, is she on drugs? Is she drinking alcohol?
No, doesn't appear. You know what? She mentioned that she was born. She mentioned that she was born with bad digestive problems.
Okay.
And I asked her if she was breastfed, and she said for a short amount of time, and then it was the formula. And she's had liver. She's got a significant liver problem.
I would love to answer that question, but you can answer it.
No,
you can answer it. The liver is the most multifunctional. I was going to say important. It's hard to say what's most important, but it's certainly the most multifunctional organ in the body. It does so many different things, hundreds of different things. The liver does. Its most important job is to be like a warehouse where it stores things, amino acids and fatty acids and vitamins and glucose. It also is your major detox organ. So between storage and detox, the liver is subject to a lot of unpleasant forces from our standard American lifestyle. Why? Because we're eating a lot of sugar. We're eating a lot of fat. We're eating a lot of protein. We're burning the liver. The liver is the primary victim of metabolic syndrome. And then on top of that, we're immersed in all kinds of toxicity that the liver has to deal with. We take things for granted, but even just chlorine in the water, the liver has to deal with. Just fluoride from your toothpaste, the liver has to deal with.
You use fluoride toothpaste?
No, but I don't use fluoride toothpaste, but it's pretty much in all toothpaste.
No, I don't use fluoride.
No, it's pretty much a common thing. I'd say way more people use fluoride in their toothpaste than don't.
I haven't used fluoride in years, but continue.
Yes, so the liver is subject to a lot of forces. Now, if you add to the fact this woman was born compromised at the level of the digestive system, obviously she's going to have a metabolic issue. Now, you of all people, I don't know if Rebecca's on the call, I don't see her, but you of all people and Rebecca should know about metabolic, the word metabolic. In fact, the word metabolic is the most important word to understand if you're going to understand chronic degenerative disease or the lack thereof. What is metabolism? Metabolism is the sum total of biochemistry in the body when you add up biochemistry of breakdown and the biochemistry of buildup. I know I said this before. I think I might have said it on Friday, but breakdown and buildup, if you're chemist, you say anabolism and catabolism, but I call it breakdown and buildup, or buildup and breakdown. Anabolism is buildup, catabolism is breakdown. Those are the fundamental biochemical processes in the body. There's a few other things that happen, like things with the immune system, for example, and inflammatory things. But the by far the largest amount of chemical energy is spent on building and breaking down. Okay, are you making sense? You with me?
Absolutely.
Okay. Building and breaking down together are called metabolism. So metabolic syndrome is a syndrome, which means a bunch of things. Syndrome is when a bunch of things happen from one cause. Leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut leads to a bunch of things. Metabolic syndrome, defects in how the body breaks things down and builds things up, leads to a bunch of health problems. And one of the most prominent of those health problems is liver issues. And Rebecca can tell you all about it. And that's all kinds of liver issues. So much so that fatty liver disease is considered normal. It's a normal health or a normal biochemical or biological phenomena that occurs as we get older. And if you go to the doctor and he says you got fatty liver disease, he'll say, it's okay, it's normal. It's not normal. It's a sign that the liver's not working correctly and the fat isn't getting processed and it's depositing. Ultimately, you can have fibers in the liver when the tissue gets damaged enough, liver fibrosis, and people die of that every day. Liver fibrosis or cirrhosis of the liver. And who is it that's most susceptible to those problems? People who are doing drugs, particularly alcohol, which is especially toxic for the liver. And I've drank in my share of alcohol. I'm not going to preach to anybody about alcohol, that's for sure. I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of poisons that are worse on the body than alcohol. Not a lot. There are some probably, but not a lot. And certainly the ones that are, you don't ingest as much or as regularly as alcohol if you're susceptible to indulging in alcohol abuse.
So how do we fix the liver? And,
good question.
And I actually want to interject with an idea. I was talking to a client the other day, and he had Agent Orange, and he was insisting to me that he used an avocado seed and boiled it and used the avocado seed tea, and it cleaned his liver.
There's probably medicine in avocado seeds. All seeds have medicine, but I'm not going to,
I'm not going to suggest it to anyone either.
Yeah, and I'm not going to dispute his experience either, if that's what he said, but I would suspect that there's more important things to do for your liver than avocado seed. The most important thing is to reduce the stressors on the liver, which of course are sugar mostly, as well as toxins, drugs, if you're doing drugs, or like I said, chlorine or fluoride or any of the things.
If you're smoking pot, is that
same?
It's a stress.
Listen, I don't know why people think smoking pot is like some safe natural thing to do. It's not.
Well, because I actually, when you talk about flax seeds, I'm often saying to myself, why is he not mentioning hemp seeds?
Hemp seeds are the best, but they're harder to find. Hemp seeds are the best by far. Hemp seeds are perfect. Yeah, but they're harder to find. Flax seeds are everywhere. That's why I say flax seed. But yes, hemp seeds are the best. Absolutely, that's correct. Okay. And I'm a big fan of hemp seeds. Okay. But they're just harder to find than flax seeds. But as far as pot goes, there's this thinking that, pot's natural, or I don't know what people think. Smoking is terrible. There is absolutely zero redeeming value. That's even worse than that. It's just a terrible thing to do. Have you ever seen lungs of a smoker and the lungs of a non-smoker?
I'm familiar.
I mean, those are your lungs, man. What are you doing? Have you ever seen the inside of a bong? Would you want that in your lungs? Would you want that in your lungs? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's like, yeah. Listen, I was young once.
Yes, I was young too. I'm from the 70s. I did my share or whatever, But, the point is that no, pot is not benign. And here's something else. When I was a youngin', buying the little nickel bags, with the little green stuff in it, the marijuana was 5% THC. Today, it can be up to 70% THC.
Wait, did you have the yellow envelopes? Did you have those?
No, I didn't have those. No, I had little plastic baggies. It was all crunchy and stems, and I don't know what the heck I was thinking. You're 14, 15 years old. I didn't know what that was. Anyway. I was a youngin'. And so I haven't smoked in many, many years, and I will never, ever do it again. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to do to your body. And I just don't enjoy it. And, there's nothing beneficial about it. But as far as the liver goes, yes, The cannabinoids are fatty, and they are going to get stored and processed in the liver. They'll get stored in the liver. And anytime you burn something that is ordinarily an active material, you can end up with a toxin. And so burnt cannabinoids or burnt fats, burnt phyto substances, phytochemicals, those are not going to help you. They're definitely pro-aging. If you are going to smoke pot or anything else, cigars, we'll get into cigars here in a second. The pot smokers or any kind of smokers, do beyond Tangy Tangerine after. Gargle with it. Swish it around in your mouth. Take extra vitamin E, which is protective against some of the actives and cannabinoids. So make sure you're taking extra fatty nutrients in general. Make sure you're taking extra fat soluble ionic minerals or plant-derived minerals. Just make sure you nutriate correctly and reduce the load. So if you're going to tox out one place, just try to be extra clean in another place, or extra careful in a place where you're going to help neutralize or balance out some of the toxicity associated with the marijuana or the pot. And certainly, doing that stuff they have now called dab. Have you heard of dab or shatter? It's like a resin. It's like the pure resin.
You know what? Like, when I was in Colorado, that's where they had to.
Yeah.
That's where I learned about that. Actually.
So I don't think anything should be illegal. People should do what they want to do, but don't be under the illusion that there's something, there's a health benefit or that it is healthy in any way. Pot. Now, somebody asked about cigar smoking. That is one of the nastiest. I do not understand that. I'm sorry. I just don't get that at all. And the worst thing is if you're breathing somebody else's cigar smoke,
pot smoke.
Or for that matter, pot smoke or any kind of smoke. Yeah, exactly. But cigars, they stay in your mouth. So all that tar and all that all those cancer-causing molecules are in your mouth and on your tongue. And I don't know, there's no good cancers, obviously, but your mouth and your tongue and your jaw.
Dip? What about dip?
Same. It's all localized.
Okay, what about the CBD tea?
Do we have it? Is that a longevity product?
No.
CBD is great. CBD is great, and using cannabinoids in tea, that's a little bit better. Using tea, but CBD tea is very interesting because CBD kind of mellows you out, and the caffeine in tea is kind of has a stimulant effect, and so the CBD can take the edge off of the caffeine stimulation, and that could be somewhat enjoyable for people if they can get the benefits of the caffeine, the stimulating benefits without the edge. And that's what the CBD does. There's another substance, by the way, called theanine, which can do the same thing. If you take theanine supplements with tea or with coffee or with anything that gives you the jitters, it can kind of calm down. You get the benefit of the stimulant without having too much of an edge.
Okay, Pharmacist Ben, back to our liver. How are we going to clean? And don't say Dr. Ariada's liver cleanse. Use I-26. Use your digestive enzymes. And
why shouldn't I say any of that? That's exactly what you should be doing.
Okay,
that's exactly that's what you should be doing. But most importantly is you want to reduce your intake of high energy foods, sugars, and refined carbohydrates, and soda pop, and fructose. FYI, fructose is especially problematic for the liver.
So no fruit juice, but what about an apple?
Fruits, yeah. None of the concentrated fructose. Like, it's not just fruit juice. They use now in soda pop, they use high fructose corn syrup because it's much cheaper than sugar. And high fructose corn syrup is, as the name implies, high fructose. It has extra fructose over ordinary sugar. Ordinary sugar is like, I don't remember the ratios, 55, 45. You're getting more sugar in more glucose or more fructose in high fructose corn syrup than you're getting in sucrose. Sucrose, which is sugar, is a combination of glucose and fructose. So when you eat sugar, you're getting both. But when you eat high fructose corn syrup, you're getting extra fructocose. And so you got to be really careful. High fructose corn syrup, which is the sweetener of choice for most processed foods these days.
What antioxidants are going to have an effect on the liver? We use the selenium.
All of them. Selenium is absolutely vital. Phytonutrients, plant nutrients can be very helpful. Adaptogenic nutrients, fatty vitamins, vitamins E is especially protective. Vitamin A can be helpful. Vitamin D can be helpful. Essential fatty acids are must-haves for the liver. The B complex is very important for liver health. But most importantly, if you want to kind of simplify things, treat yourself like a diabetic. Healthy blood sugar pack. And that's the most important cause of liver duress, which is insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome.
Okay, it looks like our last question might be this.
Beta-glucan? Mm-hmm. Love beta-glucan. Absolutely fabulous, fabulous molecule. And the reason I say that is because it's a very simple molecule. It's just a long chain of glucose. It's a glucan. It's a long chain of glucose, but it has incredible properties, mostly around the immune system and stimulating the growth of tissue. And these long chains that become polysaccharides, these long chains of sugars, they're incredibly valuable for turning things on, particularly the immune system, as well as building. And they're completely non-toxic. And I, as a pharmacist, I love that. I'm trained as a pharmacist to study toxicity and side effects and adverse reactions vis-a-vis or compared to benefits. That's what we study. That's what drug companies, I'm not a PhD pharmacologist, but that's what they have PhD pharmacologists that do. And that's what we do in pharmacy schools. We study the relationship between toxicity, adverse reactions, side effects, and benefits. So I'm always looking at that balance, that ratio. With drugs, the kinds you get at the pharmacy, they're going to have benefits, but they're all going to have toxicity. With nutrients, they're going to have benefits with no toxicity. But there's some nutrients that give you, relative to their benefits, almost no toxicity, and I love those nutrients. Things like FucoidZ, for example. You can have as much of FucoidZ as you want, and nothing's going to happen. And there's no toxicity. There's no side effects to FucoidZ. Some nutrients you don't want to take too much. The B complex, vitamin C. It's impossible to overdose on those things. You can't. The transition metals. I think
selenium. You don't want to take too much.
Those are the transition metals, like selenium and copper and iron, molybdenum. Those are manganese. Those are ones you don't want to take too much of. They call them transition metals, and they're very. They do a lot of. They're electrically active. They have a lot of electrical activity. So you got to be a little bit careful with the transition metals. But water-soluble nutrients, polysaccharides, hyaluronic acid. You take as much of that stuff as you want. Glucosamine. There's no toxicities. There's no side effects, and I love that. Nothing exemplifies that high benefit, low risk, or high benefit, low toxicity relationship better than beta-glucan. It's the poster child of incredible benefits to non-toxicity. Absolutely love it. It's especially important for the skin, by the way, for wound healing. Has some anti-aging properties. But it's just a fabulous building molecule. Remember, the polysaccharides, I think we talked about this the other day. We talked about collagen. The polysaccharides are what make the goo of the connective tissue. Remember, we talked about the goo of the connective tissue, right? The connective tissue is made up of fibers and goo. The fibers are protein, collagen, elastin, reticulin. They're proteins, rebar. The goo is these polysaccharides and also proteoglycans that trap water. And by ingesting them, like beta-glucan, you're going to support your goo. Your goo will be supported by ingesting goo. And not necessarily by the direct transference into the goo-making machinery, but by signaling, turning it on, like we talked about, how collagen signals. And the benefits of beta-glucan cannot be understated. They're just or overstated. There's just so many of them. Especially good for intestinal health too, as a source of nutrients for the microbiome.
Trey, interessant. I'm gonna let you go. Pharmacist Ben, we don't often talk about politics here.
Yeah.
And in fact, we don't talk about politics at all. I don't even know what your politics are. I don't care what your politics are.
Yeah.
However,
what
do you think about Maduro?
No, I can't talk about that.
Being in jail with P. Diddy.
Is he with P. Diddy? Is he? No, he's not.
No.
Where do they put him? Is he in Rikers?
He's in MDC.
Oh no, but he has a special room, a special wing, I'm sure.
Well, not many people get a what do they call it? A police escort, a caravan.
Yeah. Criminals. Not many criminals get a complete. Do they shut down the highways and stuff in New York? No. Hey, there's more to things than meet the eye. Don't necessarily, believe everything you read in the New York Times. Is all I'm going to say, or any newspaper for that matter.
Well, I'm hip too. So I'll let you go, Pharmacist Ben. Get yourself some dinner. You're the man.
I will. Thank you. I'm not going to hit any buttons.
We appreciate you very much, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Friday with Pharmacist Ben on Daily with Doc.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
Fantabulous. Thank you. Have a great night.
Okay. Bye.